Wake up.
I said,
Look up.
We're on.
Ready?
Yeah.
Good. You're a character today.
Who?
Good evening. It's March 19th, Wednesday, 2020.
2025.
What year is it?
What year?
2025. And I'm with Mr. John J. Jeckovich, a highly decorated World War II hero that was in combat. You're looking well today. New clothes, new everything. Did you have a nice day? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, here we go. Mr. Jeckovich was from Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich believes in the motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. Okay.
They got those doors open.
Did you? We'll get in a second. Did you want me to read, or do you want to read?
Go ahead, read it, Dave. Go ahead.
Okay. What's the passcode?
Let's go 42965.
Okay. Here we go. We're on chapter 3. You're in. Would you please close that? Yeah. You're in chapter 3. You're in the Army, page 37. 37. I knew in my gut that I was not going to Lackland, and I was not going to be in the Air Corps. I was not going to be fly bombers, or even drop the bombs from them. I did not know what fate had in store for me, but I was prepared to meet it head on. My short stay at Fort Sam Houston and the visits to San Antonio afforded me a calmness and tranquility that I never experienced before. So you like San Antonio?
Oh, yeah. San Antonio's a nice city.
Would you ever think about moving back there?
No.
Mr. Jeckovich lived at 3063 Orleans Avenue.
Oh, don't say it now.
Okay. Where you grew up at, would you ever want to move back to
No, it's a dump.
It's a dump, okay. All right. Here we go. The beauty and the majesty of it all overwhelmed me. I vowed to return someday and relive it once again. Did you ever return to San Antonio?
San Antonio?
You said you're going to return there someday. Did you ever return to San Antonio?
No.
The next morning, we boarded the trucks after breakfast. Half of the people involved in the move were heading for Lackland, and the other half just as certain that we'd wind up somewhere else. I tended to agree with the latter, and then we'd soon be aware of our new destination. So when you took off in your trucks, they weren't about to tell you where you were.
No.
As the trucks rolled out of the main gate of Fort St. Houston, I said goodbye to some of my best periods of my life, civilian or military. Shortly thereafter, we approached Highway 35 and would soon know our destination. Turning into a southwesterly direction would take us to Lackland. And it turned out we were in a northeasterly direction. Let's see. Turned out we veered into a northwesterly direction. Lackland was out of the picture. So you knew when they turned in the wrong direction,
Yeah.
that Lackland wasn't going to happen. We traveled about 30 minutes more at most, and we approached an Army installation. Appearing on a large sign in green and brown letters were the words, "Welcome to Camp Bullis."
Camp Bullis, yeah.
What was Camp Bullis?
Yeah. Rough.
Rough? Was it just old and dirty?
Yeah.
As we entered the camp, we were abruptly aware of the stark difference of this camp from the one we had just left. The first item that almost leaped out at us was the enormous amount of red clay all over the campgrounds. It was underfoot in the roadways, and every person saw us walking about. The camp was strikingly GI, with its two-story barracks all laid out in neat rows, and its profusion of troops marching about in tight formation. Camp Bulge was located 20 miles northwest of San Antonio on the Leon Springs Military Reservation. It was a sub-post of Fort Sam Houston, established 1917 as a target range and maneuver ground for the fort. The 2nd 88th and the 95th Infantry Division made extensive use of this camp during World War II. It was reverted into an inactive status on January 1, 1950, and later utilized as a training center for 4,500 reserves and National Guard troops. The trucks took us to the post theater where we were imagined we would be processed. This was the first time I had the opportunity to see so many military officers. They looked very efficient and quite professional in their starch fatigues with their ranks on collar pins, collar lapels, and their last names printed on their helmet liners, which they all wore at the precise angle. This was a no-nonsense gathering at this initial processing task. We were told to be either at attention or at ease, and to address all officers as sir. This was the Army, the real Army, or so I thought. I was assigned to C Company, which I later found out was a basic rifle company. All the people I'd come down with were scattered throughout the complex of companies and regiments. There was no one I knew assigned to C Company with me, a Second Lieutenant Jason, and a Staff Sergeant Oldolski drove me to my company area. They were both cordial, and I felt they were attempting to make me feel at ease as they could under the circumstances. As we reached the company area, I noticed that there were large numbers of men with fatigue jackets on. They appeared to be cleaning rifles and small arms. I was told by Lieutenant Jason that this was called the armaments stables, cleaning and checking the equipment and the individual arms. Sergeant Adolski ushered me into the barracks, walked halfway down its length and stopped at one of the bunks. This was to be my bunk and upper one. How'd you like the upper bunk?
Yeah.
Was upper one all right?
But you gotta climb up.
Yeah. I also had a small coat rack and a shelf behind the bunk, and a 4-foot locker stored in the front of the bunk. I was told to store my equipment then and join the rest of the company outside. I felt apprehensive. It was also so strange to me, and besides, I did not have the assurance of familiar faces, which I've gotten used to at Fort Sam Houston. As I joined the rest of the company in armament stables, I picked up bits and pieces of relative information. We were part of the 95th Infantry Division, activated about a year ago, as they're getting up to full strength. They all had completed their basic training with the division, and they're expected to be shipping out overseas within the month. You didn't stay in the 95th Division, did you?
No.
We were replacements to fill their table of organization, TO, and once completed, they would be ready for overseas duty. They were all hoping to go to European theater, ETO, rather than the Pacific. I concurred with that thought. So even at this time, you didn't know if you were going to Europe or the Pacific. Even at this late stage,
Yeah.
You didn't know, right?
No, they don't know what they're gonna do. They didn't know what they're gonna do.
Military life as such was much different than anything I experienced so far in the Army. Reveille was at 500 hours and breakfast was at 600 hours. How was breakfast?
That was good. I'm treats you good food. Good food.
What do you do?
What would you do at Reveille?
Huh?
What would you do at Reveille?
Reveille?
Yeah. What was Reveille?
Reveille is Wake up, wake up. No, end of the day.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know.
how many minutes?
19.
Okay. The rest of the day was filled with 15-mile hikes, field problems, night problems, lectures, rifle range and shooting, and physical training. Retreat was at 1,700 hours and lights out at 2,300 hours, which I welcomed wholeheartedly. The non-coms and officers were all dedicated leaders. How do you become a non-com?
How do you run? Up through the ranks. Come up through the ranks. Non-coms, staff sergeant, sergeant, buck sergeants, corporals.
How about lieutenants?
Oh, that's commission.
Commission, what do you mean by commission?
They're commissioned. They're officers.
Non-coms.
Non-coms are somebody. They're non-com. They're not commissioned.
Okay. Was there a lot of non-coms?
Oh yeah.
More
Staff
non-
sergeants and sergeants.
More non-coms than officers?
Huh?
More non-coms than officers?
Probably, yeah.
The non-coms and officers are all dedicated leaders, and I thought highly of them. In comparison to the non-coms we experienced at Fort Sam Houston, there was just as much dissimilarity as there were between the two camps. Where Fort Sam Houston was tranquil in appearance, its personnel we came in contact with were trifling and apathetic. By contrast, Bulge was a stark, antiseptic, and dismal as compound as St. Houston. But its people we came in contact with were friendly, helpful, sympathetic to our situation. In essence, they treated us as if we were part of their family of soldiers, which in reality we were. I soon developed a kinship towards them, and I believe I was fortunate enough to go overseas with such an outstanding group. At this point, after being there only a relatively short time, I began to evaluate my emotions regarding the rejection at Lackland. I became truly resolved to my situation, and I was determined to make the best of it. Then suddenly one afternoon, as we were completing a field problem, I discovered my name on the shipping list. So your name's on the shipping list
Yeah,
again.
he's gone, yeah.
Wow. There were only 3 of us left, 2 others and myself. The other 2 were from the 3rd Platoon, and I did not know them very well. After chow that evening, I began to feel downhearted and depressed. I would have felt better if there had been a mass movement, a great number of people moving with me. But 3 people is a little disheartening. I felt inferior and inadequate, and that I could not make the team. As we boarded the trucks the next morning, there was no feelings of anticipation or something great happening. Instead, there was just a dull sensation in the pit of my stomach. In one small step, I had become a full-fledged soldier. Mine was not the reason why, but only to do or die. The convoy consisted of 3 trucks. 2 additional ones had picked up on our way out of camp. They were from the other companies, and in total there had been 40 to 50 personnel involved in the move. As we took State Highway 46 to get back on main highway, Highway 135, I kept track of my directions. When we passed the first highway marker, indicating they were on 35, I surmised correctly that we'd be heading due north. So now you're going north again.
What?
Now you're going north again.
Yeah.
This was a longer trip than our previous one to Bullis, and several hours had passed already, had 2 short breaks. The break would consist of a truck convoy pulling off the shoulder road. The troops would disembark to structure legs, relieve themselves, or have a smoke, if they're so inclined. I did the former 2, but not the later. After riding for another hour, our last track, we began approaching what to be an Army installation. There would be a large restricted area signs, profusely about the sign on the side of the road, invariably a barbed wire fence starting to sprout everywhere, giving us the illusion of entering a prisoner camp. Shortly thereafter, we approached the main gate of the camp and the armed sentry on duty. The sign of the gate read, Camp Swift, home of the 106th Infantry Division.
Oh boy, they got slaughtered.
I was
That's how they got slaughtered. Yeah,
in Bastogne, right?
yeah.
You weren't in the 106th.
Huh?
You were lucky you weren't in the
No, they kept moving around. They kept moving around.
Home of the 106th Infantry Division. This was a division that was destined to lose almost 7,000 captured men and over 800 killed or wounded in the Battle of the Ardennes, commonly called the Battle of Bulge. Wow, that's something. The 106th had been activated in early spring of 1943 and was up to full strength and well trained. There were some unexplained reasons some 7,000 enlisted men were pulled out of the ranks, taking their place and arriving only a short time before the division embarked for overseas, were 1,200 men from ASTP, Army Specialized Training Program, 1,100 men from Air Cadets, and 1,500 from other divisions not scheduled for overseas, and 2,500 from various disbanded small groups, mostly service troops. Like many other infantry divisions, it has been raided for replacements. Should always raiding for replacements, right?
Yeah.
To fill units already overseas and in combat. And shortly before being shipped overseas, men from the ground units of the Army Air Corps, anti-aircraft, and ASTP filled its ranks. Camp Swift was activated in May of 1942 as an infantry training center. It was located 36 miles southwest of Austin in Bastrop County. On July 31st, 1947, it was declared surplus by the War Department. So, you're still in Texas.
Yeah.
Wow. Like the former Camp Bullis, this was a typical infantry training center with a stark row on row of two-story barracks lined up so many centuries, and was a bleak reminder of its real purpose, which was to train soldiers for deadly combat. This was a serious business, everything about it, for its monastery-like surroundings, to its professionalism of its people, exuded only one role, exuded only one role, to be proficient in killing the enemy. I was assigned to Company 424 Infantry Regiment. Most of the men in the combat were replacements, as I was fairly new to the infantry. Some had 6 to 8 months in training as air cadets. You want to do the text, or I'm going to keep reading?
Go ahead.
What do you want to do, reading or text?
Oh, go ahead.
Text. Questions?
Yeah.
Minutes.
Well, we got some text questions for you here. Mr. Jeckovich, you stay in contact with fellow soldiers after the war?
No.
No. Where were you stationed overseas?
Overseas.
Yeah.
England, France, Germany, Holland, all over.
What were your hobbies and interests before the war?
What was that?
What were your hobbies and interests before the war?
Oh, woodworking, mechanical, electrical work, and do stuff around the house.
So you carried that on the rest of your life, correct?
Huh?
You, after the war, you carried on those same hobbies and interests?
Yeah.
Okay. Where were you born and raised, Mr. Jeckovich?
Oh, don't say it.
Okay, pass. Pass. What was your family life like before the war?
Well, it was a regular family. we had loving tender care.
Where'd you go for your basic training?
We went to Leavenworth.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your initial impressions of the military life when you were first drafted?
Well, I said it's pretty regular. They know what they're doing.
Okay. You were in combat. Were you an infantry, a medic, or a pilot?
A what?
While in infantry, in combat, were you an infantry, a medic, or a pilot?
I was infantry, yeah.
How do you feel when you learned about the atomic bomb?
Well, they cut everything off. We were supposed to go to Europe. We were supposed to go to the Pacific, and they cut us off.
How did Mr. Jeckovich, how did your being drafted into the Army, how did you drafted into the Army? Where is this now? Okay, hold on, please. What happened to it? Mr. Jeckovich, how did your war experience affect your life after the war?
After the war,
Yeah.
I tried to put it behind me.
Okay.
I don't think I was affected that much.
Did you have any challenges readjusting to civilian life?
Oh, not really, no. It was too hectic. My mother was after me right away.
Your mother had a long list of chores
Yeah.
for you. She was on top of you. Let's see. How did the draft or the service impact your career choices?
I don't have a career choice. I was drafted into the infantry. I was drafted, and they put me where they wanted to.
Okay.
I didn't go like looking into the Coast Guard. He selected that. I didn't.
Okay.
I was waiting till I got drafted.
Okay. Okay. How did the war shape your personal values?
My personal values,
How did the war shape your personal values?
I didn't reduce them. No, I didn't get pissed off and everything else. I thought the same way. I just figured I had to go through this nonsense.
How do you view the world today compared to the world you grew up in?
When I grew up, it was real calm and cool, and they know it was more religious. This is all crazy here.
Okay.
I pity these poor kids coming up.
Yeah, I do too. It's upside down. It's crazy. Do you believe the lessons of World War II are still relevant today?
Oh yeah, they learn a lot. They learn a lot. Yeah.
What is the most important thing you want people to remember about your generation?
That we did what we were supposed to do.
Right, there was no BS. You did your job, and that was it. And that was it. What were your thoughts and where were you when you heard about Pearl Harbor?
I was skating on Joe Creek Sunday afternoon.
And then what'd your mother say to you?
When I went in for supper or for lunch, she said that they're going to start another war.
Yeah. As a boy, what was your favorite Sunday morning cartoon?
That what?
As a boy, Mr. Jeckovich, what was your favorite Sunday morning cartoon?
Sunday morning cartoon on the radio?
Yeah.
I don't think we had a radio on. We went to church.
And besides, when Mr. Jeckovich was a boy, there was no TV. Yeah. Have you ever witnessed a crime in progress?
A crime in progress?
Yeah.
You mean civilian?
Civilian or military? Have you ever
I
witnessed?
never visited any civilian, but I've seen them in the military, yeah.
Like what?
Like what?
Well, someone got hit hectic and they shot somebody they didn't like.
On their same side, right?
You know, and this was in the gravel out. It wasn't in a camp. It was out in the field.
Okay.
And they get pissed off at somebody. And they get pissed off. They shoot them off.
And no one's ever accountable for that.
Yeah. He's just one of the guys.
You stated that you had rubber tire tubes to make guns, kids' guns. Have you ever made a ball of twine or rubber bands?
Oh yeah.
Just under 4.
At what age in your life did you learn the most?
What reason I like?
What age in your life did you learn the most?
Probably when I was in the army.
Okay. Yeah. If you had the ability, would you travel into space?
No, I hate traveling.
Space, rocket ships?
No, those guys up there, oh, they forgot about them.
Yeah.
And they dropped them in that damn ocean, then they couldn't open it up, and and those people in there screwed around for almost 10 months.
Yeah. Mr. Jeckovich, when you lived in England, they don't use much of ice in their drinks. Do you like ice in your drinks here?
Ice?
Ice in your teas or your drinks here?
Oh yeah, at home, yeah.
But in England, when you lived there, they didn't care for much for ice, right?
Well, it wasn't warm, but it wasn't cold.
Oh, okay. Wow, yeah. Mr. Jeckovich, do you have any siblings?
Siblings?
Yeah. Any brothers or sisters?
Oh yeah.
Who are they?
Well, there's Loki, Steve, J.K.
Okay.
and
How about
Sally.
your sister, Sally?
Sally, yeah.
Yeah. I got you. Have you ever made your own orange juice?
Made my own orange juice.
Yeah. Or you just store buy it?
Yeah, I took a couple of orange, cut it in half and made orange juice, yeah.
Was it pretty good?
Not very good.
I see. I see. Have you ever stayed up an entire 24 hours?
Yes,
When?
in the Army,
How many hours did you stay up?
24 hours.
Wow.
How come?
How come?
Well, I had CQ, and they moved you around, then something come up, everyone moved,
What's CQ?
What's CQ?
charge of quarters.
Okay. You say you worked at a movie theater. What movie theaters did you work at?
Strand, Cataract, Hippodrome.
They were busy then, right?
Yeah, I was an usher, yeah.
When you're in the movies yourself, do you prefer popcorn or candy with your movie?
Probably popcorn, yeah.
Popcorn, yeah. Did you get free popcorn when you worked as an usher?
Well, you don't go out there and grab it, they'll fire you.
Okay, so you couldn't get any free popcorn when
No.
Your job was to do what as an usher?
Huh?
What was your job to do as an usher?
Find the seats for people when they're waiting for a seat. Go down the aisle, look for empty seats, price your twice, price it twice or 3 times, depending how many seats there are. Show them down there, and that's it.
I see. I see. Mr. Jeckovich, how are you different from most people?
How am I different from most people?
Yeah.